So my semester project was with spare parts, and we called it Eco Quotes with College Folks. So this is a brief introduction to Spare Parts. So Spare Parts is a nonprofit organization in San Antonio, Texas that advances reuse and sustainability through creativity in the arts. And they have a creative center for reuse, which intakes pre-owned creative materials that would otherwise be discarded and re-offers them to the community. And they emphasize sustainability, affordability, and accessibility to the arts through reuse and education. Some background on Spare Parts is that in 2011, the concept behind Spare Parts was developed by Miss Mary Elizabeth Cantu, the founder and executive director, who is also our project champion. In 2018, Spare Parts officially becomes a nonprofit organization, and then in April 2021, Spare Parts opens the Center for Creative Reuse to the public. The core values is to support cultural and environmental sustainability, to provide affordability and accessibility to the arts, to offer community education, and to foster creativity, green style. Their mission statement is to advance reuse and sustainability through creativity in the arts. Their vision statement is to increase reuse and sustainable practices through programming, education, and physical development. Spare Parts empower citizens to reduce landfill tonnage through reuse and environmental accountability. So now we're going to go through our weekly process with our project. So week 1 is our Agile Project Charter. So what you see on this slide is our project charter with Ms. Cantu as our project champion and Professor Chambers Lawson as our sponsor, myself as the project manager, and then our stakeholders, start date, completion date, our executive summary. So Spare Parts was created in 2018 in response to the lack of art funds in grade school classrooms, and they want to inspire and support the San Antonio creative community, but they have little exposure, so I wanted to help Spare Parts with their goal of bringing more awareness and spreading the word. So this is authorized by Ms. Cantu, and our objectives are to increase Instagram followers by 20% and increase sales of inventory by 5%. And so some milestones were editing and uploading our first video, and then finishing and posting all 10 videos on time, which we are in the process of doing right now. Estimated cost $895, which is from our earned value report. All right, so week 2 was identifying the team, which consists of myself, Ms. Rivera, and Ms. Jones, and then Ms. Cantu. So my tasks are to schedule weekly meetings for the project updates from members, taking pictures for posts, recording and editing videos, as well as establishing an upload schedule. Ms. Rivera and Ms. Jones had the tasks of brainstorming and creating rough draft for our post ideas, as well as providing any criticism that might help. And then Ms. Cantu would make final approval of all project tasks and uploads the real videos according to the schedule. And here we have our flow chart with Ms. Jones and Ms. Rivera reporting to me, who reports to Ms. Cantu. And then week 3 is shared understanding. So here we created our work breakdown structure with our deliverables of launching Eco Quotes with College Folks Reel Series and the subsequent subtasks, establishing a consistent upload schedule with those subtasks, and then posting more interactive content for followers to engage with in those subtasks as well. For this project, our vision statement is to increase awareness of reuse and sustainable practices by increasing Spare Parts' social media presence, especially on Instagram. So week 4 is clarifying communication preferences. Here we have our plan laid out. So for brainstorming, was basically whatever is most available for everyone. We preferred Zoom, so that way we could get that live interaction, since we were still in the pandemic area at the beginning of this project. But for more spur-of-the-moment ideas, we would resort to email and text, project check-ins weekly by email, major deliverable and milestone updates. We would have monthly Zoom meetings, and then we would have workday meetups at Spare Parts to just discuss how things were going, film, and see how things were changing at the store. Week 5 is servant leadership. So the 10 principles of servant leadership are listening, empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, conceptualization, foresight, stewardship, committing to the growth of people, and building community. Personally, I believe that committing to the growth of people is most important, because if you're truly committed to the growth of others, you'd implement all of these other principles to your best ability so that you can be the best steward leader you can to help them be the best that they can be. So week 6 is addressing conflict, where we created our risk registrar. So I ordered this by the highest risk categories, and then went down to the lowest risk. So the highest risk would be phone crash, where my phone, for some reason, which holds all of our videos and editing software, suddenly crashes, which would be a huge detriment to the project because we would lose a lot of progress. But fortunately, we also had backups on other devices, so in case that did happen, we would still be able to recover whatever footage or progress we had, which we would have otherwise lost. Another one which would really stink would be Instagram termination. In that case, our project would just completely shut down, because the whole point of our project is to increase Instagram followers. So that would be detrimental, but it's very unlikely, so that's good. Video delays was a moderate risk with some possibility. Fortunately, we got all the videos out on time, so it wasn't an issue. Conflicting meeting times was pretty likely. It happened a few times actually, but fortunately we were able to communicate still through email and text to get whatever we needed to communicate across to each other. And then finally, low follower participation, which wouldn't be detrimental to the project, but it would definitely hinder it. But fortunately, we've had pretty good participation in our most recent Instagram posts, so that's been really great. Week 7 is leveraging emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, manage, and regulate one's own emotions, and is the ability to handle interpersonal relationships empathetically and judicially. There are 5 key elements to emotional intelligence. They include self-awareness, which is understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, and mannerisms. Self-regulation, which kind of builds off of self-awareness and is keeping yourself in check and under control. The third is motivation, which is the desire to work and strive for betterment. 4, empathy is understanding the emotions of others. And social skills is the ability to manage one's relationships with others in a friendly and meaningful manner. Week 8 is our earned value report. So here you can see our earned value report where we were on time and under budget, and our cumulative earned value was $1,479. So I did this basically by taking the work breakdown schedule and listing out all of our subtasks, and then each week when that subtask was performed, I would look up the value of if we hired a professional and applied that to the hourly rate, the hours I worked, and just calculated it from there. And then next week, week 9, is succession planning. So my successor for project manager would be Heather Jones. So she's our most likely successor because she's already been helping out with the project. She's been brainstorming and coming up with great ideas. So she's familiar with EcoQuotes with college folks. She also has a technology background, so it'd be pretty easy for her to transition into my role. And pending vacancy is Miss Anna Garcia, who's a member on Spare Parts Board of Director, and she's likely to be replaced by Miss Amber Lornelli, who's a great candidate for the position. And then a potential vacancy, though unlikely, would be Miss Cantu. In that case, we would have Miss Herrera take her place, who is currently the president of the board of directors and is most fit to take over the reins of Spare Parts. And then finally, week 10 is our quality checklist template, in which case I met with Miss Cantu and we went through the entirety of the checklist, and fortunately everything is completed and in the yes column, so that's really great. Other than that, that's the entirety of the project. It's been a blast working with Spare Parts. Everyone there is so great, and I've learned so much working with them and going through this project management course. Professor Chambers Lawson, you've been great, been fantastic. I've loved watching your lecture videos and learning more about project management and the processes that go into it. So thank you for this semester. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, and I hope we are able to meet again sometime in the future. So thank you. And then here is our project's final EVM as requested.